respected delegates from across country and continent and academia, a very good afternoon to one and all. I am Venkat from Department of Marketing Management. I take this opportunity to welcome you all on behalf of the Organization Committee of Guru Nanak Center of Research and Development of Marketing Management, Guru Nanak College, for the Day 2 of the International Industry Academia Conclave on Education in the Post-COVID World Challenges and Novel Strategies. Sirs and Madam, I would request to begin this program with our college prayer song. The day 1 session with a rich 40 minutes knowledge sharing to all the students of this class. Now, I request Ms. Mahalakshmi, Head of Marketing Management and Organization Secretary of the Conclave, to introduce our chief guest and welcome our chief guest, Dr. Yasser Mahfooz. Please, ma'am.
A very good evening to all. I, Mahalakshmi, on behalf of Guru Nanak College Center for Research and Department of Commerce Marketing Management, is here before you to welcome all of you, the respected resource person, the dignitaries, and all the participants to the International Industry Academia Conclave 2021 on Education in a Post-COVID World, Challenges and Novel Strategies. So today is the second day. So today is the second day of the 5 days International Industry Academia Conclave, IIAC 2021. As I said, the theme of this conclave is Education in a Post-COVID World, Challenges and Novel Strategies. With due respect and privilege, I take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Yasser Mahfooz. With almost 2 decades of academic research and consulting experience, Dr. Yasser Mahfooz brings value to every discussion. He is currently working as an associate professor at the College of Business Administration, King's Saud University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. With primary teaching interest in strategic marketing and marketing communications, he teaches at undergraduate, graduate and doctorate levels. In spare time, he does pro bono consulting on issues related to marketing strategies. Dr. Mahfooz is a recipient of 2 UGC-funded projects and has publication in referred journals, edited books, and business textbooks. Recently, his cases were published in Integrated Advertising, Promotion, and Marketing Communications, Global Edition by Clow and Babb, and Strategic Brand Management, Building, Measuring, and Managing Brand Equity in Global Edition by Keller and Swaminathan. He is the recipient of Canadian Studies Faculty Research Fellowship by International Council for Canadian Studies and Development of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, and was also nominated by UGC for a faculty exchange program to visit Mauritius. He has traveled widely for conferences and workshops and has been consistently recognized for quality teaching and academic output. So we are really privileged to have such an eminent person as a resource person for this conclave. So respected dignitaries and dear participants, please welcome Dr. Yasser Mahfooz from Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear all, may I now request Dr. Yasser Mahfooz, Associate Professor of Business Administration, King Saud University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to address our participants of the webinar. Please, sir.
Thanks, Venkata. Thanks, Professor Mahilakshmi. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to the organizers for having me here. Good afternoon, everyone. I have been already introduced, so I won't go into that. Let me straight away start with the reason I am here. When I was approached for the first time for this event, one thing which I found very interesting was that the theme of the event, like we all know, it's very relevant in present times, and there is no one globally who hasn't experienced what has happened around, right? So the scale might differ, but every one of us was affected by it. Some in a positive way, I would say. I would talk about it later in my presentation. And many others beared losses during the last around 1 year. So the applicability of topic is there, and very much because so many problems have happened in the last 1 year, especially because of the pandemic. Many of us have lost our loved ones, someone from the family, friends. Many have lost their jobs. The salaries have been cut down, and we have seen many businesses closed down, right? So many of the sellers, retailers, businesses, brands, they are now out of the market. So this is a very scary situation, and we have been consistently talking about it. But in my presentation, like in the coming few minutes, I will primarily focus on the positives, right? So we already hear a lot of negatives about what has happened and so on. But I have structured the presentation in a way that let us talk about the good things that have happened in the past around 1 year. Now, what happens is, I mentioned that so many businesses have closed down, and every one of us has experienced this. See, the closure of a business is actually a corporate level decision. So especially those of you who are connected to strategy or working in the industry in a strategy profile, it's not a sudden decision. So it depends a lot on what type of assessment happens and where you stand. And based on that, it is decided whether we should close our business or not. But the last 1 year, what has happened is that we saw many of the companies all of a sudden going out of the market. So although on one side we say it's a corporate level decision and happens with a period of time, but what we saw was that things got so different that the businesses have closed all of a sudden. So let me share my presentation with you all. Ma'am, please, can you confirm if it's visible? So
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I propose slideshow, sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
You have to put it in slideshow.
Slideshow. Okay. It's already in slideshow, ma'am.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
visible.
right. Sure.
Fine, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the theme which was given to me was I have to take a marketing perspective. So, being a person from marketing, being into academics and specifically related to marketing, this is what I will be talking about. So, what I was mentioning is business decisions, especially related to closure, are a corporate level decision which happen over a period of time. But what we saw was that all of a sudden the companies got closed. So you might have received as a WhatsApp a forward, and very often friends who are sending us this, who led the digital transformation of your company. So on one side we say it's a top level, someone from the top level management, a board of directors, but actually what happened was that this pandemic affected us in such a big way that we couldn't do anything. So let's keep in mind that whatever strategy happens, whatever strategy we use, that is a result of how we stand internally as a company, like our resources and all, how strong we are, and how is the external environment. So external environment factors maybe like political, economic, socio-cultural, our competitors, our customers. So any change in internal environment we can easily handle because it belongs to us. But the components of external environment, they are outside our control. So if there is any change, we can take a counter action, but we cannot control those factors from the very beginning, right? And this is what actually happened when the pandemic came and we started hearing news. So different countries around, timeline was slightly different. So most of us in March, we started realizing the gravity of the problem. But this was something which was external to us, to the organizations. And it happened so quickly that even for a few months, we didn't even knew what should be our plan of action. So those companies which were strong internally, they had the resources, they had the capabilities, they survived. Whereas those who were weak, they failed. So the cases which we see around us that businesses got closed, it's not that pandemic came and all of a sudden these companies became weak and they went out of business. They were actually weak from the beginning. Before the pandemic itself, these companies were weak. It's only that when pandemic came, it acted as a catalyst. So they might have closed in a few years time, but that thing happened in a few months. So these are the primary highlights of my discussion today. I'll talk a bit about yesterday's session. I'll start from that. So I'll continue from what was presented yesterday. There are a few other topics: social responsibility, a news idea, and so on. So as we move on, we talk more about it. Now, what has happened so far is that as individuals, like the positive side is, as individuals, we have survived. We have shown resilience. Same ways for companies also. Those companies which tried to survive, most of them survived. Others who were weak, they perished. Right? So my primary focus, I mentioned earlier also, since I'll be talking about positives, so I'll be talking about those which are there, those who had the willingness to move on, to do something so that they can continue doing business. So yesterday the presenter talked about education and how education was affected, and I saw a lot of comments from the participants also, especially students. Some of them were really good ones. And what we found was that when pandemic came and lockdown happened, but business has to move on, so many of the universities went into an online format. So classes were taken online, lectures were delivered through different platforms. Uh, some universities use their own learning management system, some others went for Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and so on. It was a challenge for both of us, like teachers, presenters, instructors, and students also, because we were not used to getting lectures delivered online. For teachers also, because we had to adapt to the new system, so our entire coursework, many of us who were delivering in lectures, that was all of a sudden moved to an online format. So assessments were online, your presentations and everything went online. Even big universities, even those existing for almost 2 centuries, many of them closed. Top universities globally, it's not that we are the best ones, we can provide the best facility, safety, security. They had to move to an online environment because this was the call of the day. And we couldn't do anything because this was outside our hand, like outside our control. And universities, because I am also from the same system, same industry, so I talk to so many of my colleagues, friends who are working in different universities, and what was found was they are somehow trying to find ways so that they keep on running. Now consistently we have seen, you must have also observed, it's common almost everywhere that in a university system we have like two models. We have private and we have public. Now public universities are funded by the government, right? So whenever there is an issue, there is a problem, the government has a choice. If it wants, it can bail it out. So public universities, publicly funded, they are kind of safe. But private universities are dependent on the money which comes as fees from students. So if the student enrollment is decent, it's high, their revenues are getting generated. But if the students are not getting enrolled, this money will not come. When this money will not come, your revenue is lessened. You have a reduced revenue level, which means you don't have funds to run yourself. And lockdown situation, of course, students won't be able to come and enroll in the courses because they are home. And if you provide an online learning, now distance learning might work in some cases where you were already using the system, students were used to the system. But all of a sudden, if you ask them, like you already paid the fee and everything is there fine, but instead of classroom lectures, we will provide you online lectures. So not everyone will be interested, because that experience which you get when you go to the university, the college, classroom, teachers, interaction face to face, your friends, that cannot be replicated in an online environment. So they kept on charging higher and higher fee, but when lockdown happened, they were at a back foot. So what could be the strategies? Few of the ones which they use and the universities are using. One is like tuition freezing. So we will stop increasing the fees. So wherever, whatever level we were, we will be at the same. In many other cases, universities which had already announced, so the coming batch, they have to pay this certain amount. We won't charge high, we will only charge what we were charging in the previous year, but at least get enrolled. Universities also are trying restructuring their programs. Now, some of the programs like sciences, engineering, fine arts, I mean like drawing, you need to be present to do so. I cannot participate in a laboratory experiment while sitting at home watching on Zoom. I need to be there in the lab to feel that process. Whereas other programs like management, still it's a theoretical program. We do have discussions, we might have case discussions and exercises, but that can still be done online. So universities are focusing more on the programs for which online model is possible, and focusing less on the ones for which you cannot have an online delivery. So they are kind of restructuring in order to do so. Universities are also using a hybrid model. Now, hybrid model is a mix of offline and online. So you can have lectures online, and whenever you have a lab, you have an experiment to be conducted, visit the college. And if it's a bigger size section, then they mostly divide it into smaller groups, and then that is done. Like we have a restriction over here nowadays, because in the past few days it was observed that the cases are going up, although the cases overall are still at 300 350, but still the government got cautious. So it was like we cannot have a gathering of more than 20. So we are still in a distance learning mode. We cannot visit the college, we cannot have a class which has more than 20, you cannot have a gathering, you cannot have people in one place. So in the university, those colleges where experiments have to be conducted, they have to do it in a way, like if they wish to, that not more than 20 at a time in the lab. Another negative side of the pandemic was job cuts. Now it's very surprising to me, like uh, there are companies which spend so much time, so much resource on their employees, they train them, and whenever they are in a crisis situation, the first thing that comes to their mind is job cut. Now in education sector, this thing happened, although most of the ones which lost their jobs were temporary workers. Now it's very easy for to let go the temporary workers, but overall what we see is there were job cuts happening around, right? So these are few things which the universities have been using. Now same ways the business sector was also affected. Big brands, global big brands, they have filed for bankruptcy. So the reason is somewhere down the line, somewhere their internal environment, the internal component, that wasn't strong enough. Now there are two orientations of business. Now onwards, whatever I will talk about is the positive part, right? For doing business, we have different orientations. So hopefully the students who are online, they will study somewhere production, product orientation, selling, marketing orientation. So two of the ones which are of great importance, like followed in a big way, one is marketing orientation and one is societal orientation. Now the societal orientation says that we are, as a businessman, like we are doing business, we are selling something, but we are a part of society. So we have a responsibility towards whatever is around us, even if that is not my customer. So when this thing happened, when pandemic happened, you must have seen that we started hearing news about shortage of masks, shortage of gowns, shortage of PPE kits, sanitizers were out of stock. So many companies globally, like it happened everywhere, even India also, many companies came forward to make these products, and these products for free. Social responsibility. So it's not that you create products and you are selling them, you are making money. Top companies, even smaller companies reduce their budget, like the Coca-Cola example. Especially in Philippines, they came out with this advertisement. So starting today, commercial advertising of Coca-Cola and all our brands in the Philippines will be put on hold. All our committed advertising will be redirected towards supporting COVID-19 relief. So it's our responsibility to take care of the society. So that's why they were making products, these kind of products, masks, because regular companies were unable to make up for that demand. Supply was less, demand was getting higher and higher. So another one from Nike, they came out with this campaign. The first ones, among the first ones to do so was the fashion industry. Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Ralph Lauren in US, they converted their like Louis Vuitton, they converted their perfume and cosmetic factory to make sanitizers, because there, of course, there was a shortage everywhere. This is about France. Ralph Lauren made like more than 250,000 masks, especially to be distributed in the US. The company Crocs, which is into footwear, they distributed shoes for healthcare workers. They were at the front. But now this is not, now, what is the unique thing? They were not sold. They were made and they were distributed. Now, how could these companies do so? They were strong companies. Somewhere they had the resources. Internally, they were strong and they had the willingness to help others. So this is one side of this story, the positive side, that although we faced so much trouble, so much problem was happening, still there were people around us, there were companies, there were businesses around us who were willing to help others. They were not thinking about making a profit. There even are examples, the negative ones, of price gouging. That is a sudden increase in price. Online, especially on Amazon, the price of sanitizers, face masks, toilet papers, you must have heard about, like there is a shortage of toilet papers in US. You go online, you want to buy, it's like 50 times, 100 times higher than what it was sold in the normal market, usual market. Now, this is an unethical thing, but what we are talking about is the positive side of this story, which is there were people, there were businesses to support each other. So this is the societal orientation part, how you conduct business where you also take care of the society. Now we are moving to the marketing part. So there is a saying, Victor Hugo said that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Many times you have an idea, but it's like it's not suitable for the current environment. Many businesses, they launch a product, but it fails. Later on, we realize, wow, we used to have that kind of a product. I wish it was in today's environment. So here are some good examples. Zoom. Now, it's not that Zoom happened during the pandemic. Zoom was there before the pandemic also. We were having other platforms also, but we were not using them. So, like delivering lectures. Of course, if we have to deliver lectures in the classroom, if we have to conduct meetings in the office, why should I shift to an online environment? I am used to doing it in the office. But during lockdown and we had to work from home, so we started looking for options to do our business, to continue our work. And Zoom, the shares, you see, the climb so fast, the stock performance rise to 129% within a few months' time. So on one side, there were industries like hotel industry, hospitality, airline industry, restaurant industry, of course, which suffered. Entertainment industry, people were not going out, no cinemas. They were not traveling. There is a lockdown, travel restrictions. We still have it in Saudi Arabia. So few months more. No one from outside can come, especially from few countries which are there in the list. So we are where we are. We cannot move. But at the time when there are industries which are suffering, we have a company, we have an industry which is flourishing. Now, as I said, it's about the idea. The idea was already there, but this actually was the right time. So what happened with Zoom, that this external environment, like which we cannot control, which is outside our purview, we just have to be alert, that became favorable. When it became favorable, fine, rest we can see, more and more profits. Another very interesting example is of this product, German Falcon. There is this orthopedic surgeon, Arthur Krittenberg. He's from US. He developed this product, German Falcon, few years back. So it's like not now, not recently, not last year. He worked on this product, and this product is a disinfectant for planes, airplanes. It uses ultraviolet light. At that time, when he developed this product, he went to many trade shows, around 20 trade shows. He went to many conferences. He tried to convince people that this is a very good product, buy it. And the price for disinfecting a plane was just $10, approximately like 720 rupees, Indian rupees. So in less than 1,000 rupees, you can disinfect a plane. How important it is for the present scenario. So till the pandemic came, no one was interested. Now the idea was there, and nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. When pandemic came, it was a blessing for this person. Honeywell is now in a tie-up with him to create this product, to develop this product, to sell it. So now in this case, what happened? The market became favorable. So this person got the advantage. Another scenario is where the market is not favorable, but you want to survive. You want to continue. Because either you adapt to the current situation or you are out of the business. So I will talk about few marketing strategies over here, some of the important ones, and these are the strategies which are most commonly used by companies whenever they develop something related to the marketing function. So I will be just giving you a broad overview, but at least for the sake of an idea, I have taken examples, and let's see. So here I have examples about companies which were there at the time of pandemic. There was a bad situation for them, but these companies had a willingness to move on, to survive. So they found a way how to encash the situation. Where other companies were going out, where they were getting into losses, here we have examples where they did something in order to utilize the market situation. Now, broadly, like in marketing, because I am a strategic marketing person and we often talk about this, marketing is primarily based on like the strategies. I mean, either we have strategies related to customer segment they are targeting, and positioning. So who is your target market? Or we have strategies related to positioning. I will be talking a bit about these as I move on. Or we have strategies related to product, what you are selling in the market, pricing at what, like how much you want to earn, promotion, how you will be advertising, telling others about your product, and placement. So broadly, it's like segmentation, targeting, positioning, and product, price, promotion, placement. So placement is like where you will sell it. So what you will sell, at what price, at how much the other party has to pay, how you will tell others about what you are selling, and if the other party is convinced to buy your product, where should that party go and buy your product or service? Placement. Targeting. Now, targeting means out of your entire market, prospective market, you pick a group which you will target, which you want to sell to. Because unless and until you are selling a product which is mass marketed, a product like water, which is sold to everyone in the same way, it is consumed in the same way, then other type of products you cannot sell to everyone in the same way. One mobile phone for everyone, one airline ticket price for everyone, one type of hotel room for everyone, same type of clothes for everyone, same color, that won't work. So when you are doing business, this is one of the earliest of strategies that you have to work on. If you are able to decide on a good target market, most of your future strategies are easy to make, because you know the profile of your target market. Bulgari, they used to, now this is about China, their market in China. It's a premium brand seller from Italy. Now, in the Chinese market, their primary target were tourists. So the people who are visiting China as tourists, they will visit a Bulgari store and buy. But when lockdown has happened, and China, of course, we know, was in a bad shape, because it's suspected that the virus originated from the same place. So now tourists are not coming. So what should you do? Either you keep sitting, you keep waiting for the tourists. When will the flights open? When will they start coming? When will our business start again flourish? Or so they shifted their target market. So instead of the tourist as their primary target market, now they started targeting locals, the Chinese people, the people who are living there. The type of price, the way it was sold, the way communication advertising was done, that was changed. So you don't make a major change in your strategy, you just change who you are selling. Then accordingly, everything will change. Because if you are targeting tourists who are coming from West, they are English speakers, your communication will be in English, your advertisements will be in English. But now locals are your primary target, so your advertising will be in Chinese language. Another one is positioning. The concept of positioning is about how you place your product in the mind of your target customer. So once you decide your target customer, now you have to place your product in the mind. Now placement here means you will create a perception about your product, of course, through advertising, through communication. The reason is because when you will approach your prospective customers, they will mostly ask two things. One is, Why should I buy your product? You can apply it to yourself also. If there is a salesperson, it's like, okay, I have a product and this, it's like, why should I buy this? What is good in this? Because I am trying to see whether this product will suit my need, satisfy it. So why should I buy your product? And then the second question, which very often follows, is fine, your product has these things, but your competitor's product also has the same features. Why shouldn't I buy the competitor's product? Right? So why should I buy your product? Why shouldn't I buy your competitor's products? This answer is given through a good positioning strategy. Now we know to run an AC, we need to close our windows. So the image on the left hand side visualizes the same thing. Windows closed, AC works well. But during lockdown, we were restricted to our homes, four walls, as we say. If we close the windows also, how frustrating it will get. I can't even open my windows. I can't even look outside because the AC is running. So they positioned their product in a way. They came out with a campaign, and it was like, Khol do khidki, chalao symphony. Open the windows. Switch on the symphony cooler. So they tried to position it like, okay, for the current times, our product is good. One, because fresh air is coming. You are at home, you are stuck at home, but still you are getting fresh air. It's better than the competitor's product because you don't have to close your windows and enjoy the air. Next one is product strategy. Now see, marketing, those of you who are from this background definitely know about it. Those who aren't, and it's no rocket science. Marketing is about the companies, they try to identify your need, what you want, and then they try to satisfy with something which is of usefulness for you, utility. If they are able to do so, they get business. If not, we don't buy. The pandemic was such a scary situation. It's a virus. We don't know where it is. Even the vegetables which we are getting from outside, we are trying to clean them. There were cases people were confused. There were posts on blogs whether we should use vinegar, what kind of vinegar we should use. Is it all fine? Because these are coming from outside. How can I straight away put it in my refrigerator? So Dabur came out with a product for washing vegetables. Marico came out with VeggieClean. They definitely have spent resources. They had the resources, but they had the willingness to do so. There are many other companies who are in a similar kind of business. Not everyone launched a product, but they wanted to take advantage of the situation and they came out with a new product. So this is another strategy. Companies are positive. Companies are trying to come out with something new. And then we have examples where many other brands went a step ahead. So Zodiac came out with a shirt which kills 99% of the COVID-19 virus. Tested or not, but we saw such kind of information on the internet. CRM anti-corona fabric in association with Health Card Australia. So if these products can be so successful, what's the need of having a vaccine? And a PPE kit. You can have a PPE kit made of the same cloth. So companies, but the common point is that companies are trying to take advantage of the situation. It's a tricky thing. But otherwise, we had many of the genuine products also. Another strategy is, now product deletion is like many other companies like Coca-Cola announced, they have a very broad portfolio of products. So they were like, they will delete many of the products which aren't doing well. So instead of focusing on all, because the business was going down, especially for Coca-Cola, the reason was because outdoor dining had stopped. So people are not going to restaurants, they won't have food, and so soft drink won't be consumed. So another of the strategy which was used. Now branding. Time Out is a magazine in US, and how they position themselves is they try to send a message in order to push the people to move out of their homes, and like for entertainment purpose, for leisure purpose. Now when lockdown has happened, you won't move out, but Time Out has to sell its product. Out doesn't fit, so they rebranded. It became Time In. So a magazine, if you are spending time in your homes, then it is suitable, right? So a little bit of change in your branding, but now it suits the purpose. Otherwise, it's like out of place. Promotion, another of the tool which is used by marketing companies. One of the slogans, the tagline used by KFC for a very long period of time is, it's what? It's finger licking good, right? Around the early part of last year, 2020, they came out with this campaign. So they didn't have to write finger licking. It's obvious how much this person is enjoying. But then came the pandemic, and then the pandemic is like, you don't have to touch your fingers, you don't have to take it in your mouth, keep on washing your hands, use sanitizers. This doesn't go well. And people were like not happy with the campaign. It was kind of backfiring. So the company just kind of tweaked it a bit. It's good. It's the same thing. See, it's good, but the blurred part is obvious what it means. So they are communicating the message also, and it doesn't offend anyone. Then comes placement, one of the last ones I would talk of today. Placement is how you deliver your product to your target customer. Now, Starbucks, their cafes, people visit, people sit, they spend a lot of time, they work, they chat. But we cannot do it now. Not allowed in many places. Restrictions of how many people at one time can enter. So Starbucks has already announced that it will be closing approximately 400 cafes in the US. And they will be coming out with convenience-led formats which will be powered by their application, the store application, so that you can place an order, you can pay in advance, and you can just come and pick up. So if you just have to pick up, you don't even have to enter the store. It will take very few minutes or seconds just to enter, take it, and come out. That's a safe thing. So they changed their model. The delivery model was changed. They didn't change their product. Nothing else was changed, just their delivery model. A very interesting example of Dominos. You know, Dominos last year, the first quarter, when it was coming to an end, statistics were there that approximately there was a rise of 1.6%. The sales had increased. So in the initial quarter, 3 months, the sales increased by 1.6%. And then March, we know what happened. We started hearing news and people were not going to restaurants. They were not having food from outside. Still, in the coming 1 month, so by April end, it was found that the sales has further increased by 7.1%. How is it so? That a company selling food, people are not eating food. And when the pandemic has come, people are eating more of pizza. It's not about you are staying at home, but it's like, how come you are eating that much food? What had happened is that Domino's was very quick to realize the gravity of this situation. So they were already shifting to a digital model, but they started using this digital model in a big way. Online ordering, pickup, home deliveries. The campaign which was run by Domino's at that time, so it's like, at Domino's we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizza, fine. But after leaving our 450 so like the pizza is prepared with hands, the person might be infected, you might be scared. But after leaving our 450-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. See the message. It's a way positioning is also done. Why should I buy from you? Because my product is safe, right? So Domino's, instead of you coming to Domino's and buying, eating, dining, you place an order, it will be delivered. You can place an order online, you can pay online, you can just pick up and go. So different companies, they use different strategies. It's not about that this strategy is correct or the other one is wrong. All strategies are correct as long as they provide you a good result. There are companies like P&G, Procter and Gamble, Unilever, which increased their marketing budget during the pandemic because they said this is actually a time when we should have more presence. People should know that we were there when they needed us. It will increase our brand equity. Whereas other companies like CocaCola, it reduced the marketing budget. It didn't go out of the market. For some period of time, it actually reduced the marketing budget. So whatever be your strategy, that's fine. What's more important is whether you want to survive, whether you want to stay in the market, whether you want to keep floating, right? So with this thought, I end my presentation. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Anything you didn't understand, anything wasn't clear, or any thoughts from your side, I would be willing to know from you.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, Venkat. Yes.
As you said, all this marketing, branding, everything, so and so. So, from these terms, I had a question of myself stating that is the name COVID has become a brand, and the name COVID has changed as a marketing and a promotional strategy for a company. Is it changed into a promotional tool as to bring a company to a more position and having its earning a more profit? Is it?
See, it's Venkata, it's more about uh, the perspective, like how you present yourself, right? So I talked about positioning, and if you are talking about the pluses, right, and if you are promoting your product and if you highlight, like, fine, because see, everyone knows it's a bad situation. We already know that, but why should talk about? Rather, if you are able to position in a way that I have a product, I have a brand, it will help you in this way during these times. The customers will be happy, right? Because we want support. Don't tell us there is a problem around. Tell us how you will support us during this problem. In the end, I took the example of Procter and Gamble and Unilever. They increased their marketing budget, and the primary reason was that this is a time when everyone wants us. This is a time when people go to the stores. There is a shortage of products, and if my product is available during these times, they will be happy. So we have to be there. So
Yes.
correctly said, I agree with what you said, but yes, it has to be done in a good way.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Chat windows, anyone please? I can see so many students are over here. It's a good thing. There are many who are attending. And if there is any question, please feel free to ask. We still have few minutes.
Yeah, so sir, actually, I want to thank you for your insightful presentation today. And thanks for accepting an invitation in your busy schedule. So,
Thank
in this particular topic, marketing in the post-COVID environment, you have beautifully compared the pre-COVID situation and the post-COVID. I mean, it was beautifully compared, and you explained it very well to participants. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Over to Vignesh.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for giving your valuable insights on challenges and novel strategies of education in post-COVID world. So your session was very full of enthusiasm, valuable knowledge, and we are pleased to have you here, sir. Thank you once again, sir.
You're welcome. Thanks, ma'am. Thanks for having me here. Thanks everyone for attending, giving your time to listen to me.
Vote of thanks, sir. We have vote of thanks. Can we be
Yes, and now I would like to invite Assistant Professor of Marketing Management and Department of Marketing Management, Mr. Subrat, sir. Good evening. So now we vote of thanks. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parents of all others. It is a time to express our gratitude to the gathering. I deem it is a privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the session on education in the post-COVID world, challenges and novel strategies. Is a part of the webinar series Day 2, International Industry Academic Conclave 2021, organized by Guru Nanak Center for Research in association with Department of Commerce Marketing Management, Guru Nanak College. My sincere gratitude to our Central Secretary and correspondents, Mr. Manji Singh Nayar, for all the encouragement and motivation. Words are not enough. For all the encouragement and motivation for my dynamic principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, who has always been a source of inspiration in all our endeavors. My special thanks to Dean Research, Dr. J. Jayanti. My sincere thanks to our resource person, Dr. Yasser Muhammad Sir, Associate Professor, Saudi Arabia, for a wonderful presentation. My deepest thanks to Vice Principal Shift to Dr. Rajshri Ma'am. Thanks to our HOD Maya Lakshmi, Department of Commerce, Marketing Management, and a special thanks to all the participation from the various institutions and heart institutions. Above all, I extended my most sincere thanks to Almighty God for making today's webinar a successful one. With His blessing and grace, we are able to make this event what it was. Thank you. Thank you, Anandal.
Thank you. Thanks, Venkata.
So, dear participants, kindly fill the feedback link for day 2. Thank you. Thank you for today, and tomorrow we'll be joining at 3 o'clock for the day 3 session. Thank you. Thank you all.